Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tim and this is Cuphead. Lovingly handcrafted by Studio MDHR, this toughest tax platformer will put you through your nostalgic paces, gambling with your life against all manner of Looney Tunes. Interestingly enough, that's exactly where our game begins.
Our heroes, Cuphead and Mugman, get in over their heads one night when they wander into the Devil's Casino. On a hot streak and with nothing to lose, one final bet against the devil himself puts both their souls in peril. Ooh, tough luck, chums. But, being the wheeler and dealer he is, the devil lays it on the line. If Cuphead and Mugman can collect all the souls due to the devil instead, they might just walk out of here with their straws intact.
The boys then run home to the Elder Kettle, who grants them their first sip of power and a quick refresher on platforming and mechanics. Jumping, dashing, jumping and dashing, shooting, jumping and shooting, it's all here. But the most important thing you will learn here is how to slap the pink. The rule of Mug here is if it's pink, you can parry it. And that's true across the entire world, objects stationary, moving, thrown, living, dead, or undead. Parries can only be done in the air, however, either from a jumping or falling or flying position, and have a lengthy wind-up and cooldown, so timing can be pretty tricky. It's also impossible to parry items that are just over your head, since the jump and parry animations simply do not function that quickly. But once you've learned the tricks and bought the item that lets dashes ignore damage, find your best ammo combination and unlock all of the super moves, even the devil himself won't stand a snowball's chance in hell. But what kind of game is this, you may ask? Is it a map and stage-based platformer? Is it a boss fight rush? Will I get to buy an upgrade? Is that really a B-52 bomber I saw in the game? Well, the rough answer is yes, 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 and good eye there, viewer. I'm proud of you. Most of the stages you will play are boss fights, plain and simple. There are usually multiple forms or variations the boss will go through, but largely you'll be sticking to the same arena you were plopped into for that fight. From there, it's up to you to figure out each boss's pattern, how to dodge and weave around them, and how and where it's safe to get in some licks of your own. Once you score the knockout, you'll be rewarded with the contract for that boss's soul. And collecting all of these on an island lets you turn them into the Devil's Henchman King dice and progress on to the next one, and so on until you can wallop that devil something but good. But the boss stages won't net you any of that sweet, delicious cash, useful for upgrading your cup/mug with all the latest and greatest in deadly attackeries. You see, that comes from the few run and gun stages that, well, do serve to break up the monotony and stitch the world together, but can often be incredibly frustrating tests of patience and precision as you try and navigate to the very end. They're far from impossible, but if you can master them or just muster your way to the top, you can earn some of that sick cash that you can take straight to the piggy bank. Oh, sorry, Pork Rinds Emporium. God, I love every fucking name in this game, by the way. To buy new weapons and upgrades for your journey. You can, if you choose, take even more hups, but be warned, doing so has a terrible price. Your attack will go down, by a decent amount, especially if you take the Twin Hearts, which will drag out the lengths of the fight or stage and make it even more likely that you'll take those extra hits anyway. So there really is kind of a weighty decision to when and where you will spend your cash. You could find yourself stuck in a fight without the proper weapon, making victory almost impossible. Now, the first thing you undoubtedly noticed about this game was the art style. Writ straight from the 1930s in all its rubber-hosed glory, the animations are super slick, and every square inch is filled with little details you'll be finding for ages. And the music, oh god, those merry little melodies. The soundtrack boasts an impressive 55 tracks of live musicians playing swinging big band and ragtime pieces, each one adding to the character and charm of the world. Each of the stages and bosses are unique, have mechanics and attacks that revolve around the theme of the level and range from the weird to the wacky to the downright absolutely bonkers. And I loved every single second of it. Fly patrons being entertained by frog boxers, a carnivorous carnation, these bird brains. The bosses run the gamut and are endlessly entertaining for reasons that will be made clear. You see, a lot of this game's greatest strengths can lend to its weaknesses. Because the art is so cohesive, for example, every thorn, every vase, every suitcase, every cannonball is given the same level of importance with regards to whether or not it will actually do damage to you. So the only way you're gonna find out is through trial and error, which can lead to a lot of unnecessary deaths. Thankfully, restarting the stage is fairly quick, And it gives you a chance to watch those pretty animations again, but you do have to start from the very beginning. Every time. Every single time. And you'll notice that the bosses themselves have no health bar or damage meter in the traditional sense. The game does give a progress bar if you die, but other than the changing of forms, there is no visible damage, no wear and tear that could otherwise indicate to you that the battle is kind of winding down. Also, the subtle white flashing that indicates you're actually hitting the boss can sometimes be lost amongst the chaos on screen, which adds to the frustration. Speaking of deaths, get used to this screen. You will see it. A lot. Because you will die. A lot. Between some of the pixel-perfect parrying you will have to do during some of the fights and the instant adapting you'll be expected to do, this game is far less forgiving than the adorable animations might make you think. It does try to mitigate this by offering a simple mode, where some of the attacks or sections of the fight get altered or removed altogether, which is great to practice large portions of the fight, but still save some surprise for yourself when you feel ready. Which means if you want to progress, you're gonna have to develop some serious skills by the later levels. And that makes this game tough to recommend to anyone outside the normal demographic who might genuinely enjoy the game because they were alive when these cartoons were on, or have never seen anything this bonkers before, knowing full well they probably will never pass the first 3 stages. These problems aside, Cuphead is a wonderful game, filled to the brim with class and style. If you can manage your way around some of the absolutely insane scenarios our heroes find themselves in, it's a rich experience that keeps surprising players around every corner. This game has been in development for a long time, and it shows. Current plans indicate that DLCs will be available sometime in the future, which will add more bosses and stages to the game, but at a $20 price point, the value for dollar is already there if you enjoy this kind of game. And I certainly did. Despite all the frustration, all the fits of rage from mistimed jumps and misread cues, and trust me, there were a lot, I just found myself diving back in for that one last attempt because victory was so tantalizingly close. And I guess that's just a testament to how much fun these beat your head against a wall Dark Souls, Dead Cells, Ghouls and Ghosts type games can be. Why do we torture ourselves to be the very best, like no one ever was? Because winning feels so damned good. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The devil is definitely in these details. Cuphead's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. So pick up the game for yourself. Links are in the description down below.
Will the devil be true to his word? Will our heroes free themselves once the deed is done? Or will Cuphead and Mugman be Satan's cronies for all time? Find out by playing